Okay. I have an older hand here, so I feel as though this person passed when they were quite old. They weren't young when they passed.
That's very interesting in itself.
Okay. I won't read too much into that, but I'll just what I get here.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing black shoes, so black male shoes now, and I'm here and I'm seeing the shoes move quite quickly as well.
Okay. That's interesting.
And they're quite large shoes, so I feel like it's an adult. I feel this person's dressed in business attire too, so it's not like actually no, it's more black suit, so it's more black pants and a white long sleeved shirt.
Quite possibly.
I'm going to ask for a picture of their head. And I am getting dark features for them as well.
As in nationality, you mean?
No, I mean like their hair's dark in color, like black, short black hair, black eyebrows.
Yes, that would fit with the pictures I've seen.
They're showing me a side profile of their nose as well. And I feel
Oh,
as though it's I don't want to say it's a big nose, but I always feel like there's a bit of a crook in there
uh-huh.
at the top.
Yep.
And I'm being made aware of, I don't know if it's just the time, but like almost really, I want to say poor dental hygiene. Like poor
I
dental.
I suspect so. Yes.
Um, it's just my tongue wants to run across my teeth, and it's like a
Yeah.
couple missing, and just like kind of poor.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I suspect so.
I'm being drawn back to the feet as well, and I am being made aware of people marching.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I understand why you're getting this. It is relevant. I can see what this is.
Okay. I don't feel as though this is a major part of this individual's life, but I feel as though they did have a time in their life, maybe they were in the war or they were involved in, yeah, like I want to say like marching band or war. Like, okay, I do get dirty hands with this individual.
Yep. For probably more reason than one.
I feel it is workplace because I'm being made aware of just like uh, industrial. It feels very industrial type work, laborious and very hands-on.
Mhm.
And I feel my hands are greasy. I feel like covered in grease.
Right.
And I want to say there's a child here too, a boy. And the child's not young. He doesn't appear like as a baby. He's like 11, 12. He's a young boy trying to be a man.
What age did you just say, sorry?
11 or 12.
Oh, look, I feel like this is really relevant, but it's really relevant to him as a child.
Okay. Because I feel as though this boy loses parents around that age.
Yes. So that's exactly what happened at the age of 11.
Okay, so he's lost his parents. This isn't okay. This is
It's not clear whether they abandoned him or whether they died, but he was orphaned at the age of 11.
Mhm.
And you said he was trying to be older than his years?
Yes,
And yes, yeah.
scholar. So I do get for him, like he does read quite a bit, and he learnt to
Yes,
read.
yes, 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 yes.
And he did
Yeah,
have like a mentor around him. And that mentor, and it feels male to me, that mentor, and I feel as though that mentor did teach him that skill.
right.
And I feel as though it's a unique skill to have at that time because not everyone's reading.
Okay. That's pretty relevant as well.
Like he's making me think of like Charles Dickens and like Jules Verne. And I almost feel as though he knew these people.
I doubt it. I'd say he like perhaps he read those books. The the reading, he actually has a really high IQ.
Okay.
He's got an IQ of 133, which puts him in the top 2% um, of the general population, pretty much.
Oh, wow. Okay. When I ask him around what he did, he says strategy straight away.
Absolutely.
But he's making me aware of a period where he doesn't sort of use his superpower for anything.
Uh, that's true.
Spends a lot of time alone. He does a lot of reflecting.
Yes, he does spend a lot of time alone.
And it's almost as though he's given himself that space and that time to formulate new ways to do things or ways around things.
Yes, that's true.
And he just said doing something better. So it's almost as though we have a way to do things. It's like we had a bike and I made the car. So
Okay.
building on existing things to
Uh-huh. Yes, he did that.
building
Yes,
on existing things to make something enhance something.
that that's he did do that.
He doesn't feel very sciencey to me, his
No,
energy.
he's not.
Okay, so he does draft, he does show me pen and paper, and he does draw pictures of things,
Yep. Hmm.
but he doesn't have any formal training in this. Like
That's right.
he's
Yep.
got this dream. Okay, so he's like had a dream about doing something, woke up, got his pen and paper out and drew it.
Yes.
And like what he's showing me in this particular one, it feels like a bit of a contraption. I've got a wheel. I can see a bit of a, gosh, I want to call it a dragon wing, like this sail that's that's on something here.
Okay. That's yes. It's relevant what he's showing you.
I almost feel as though it's human powered though. It's not,
Yes,
there's no
that's true.
batteries or anything because it's making
Yep.
me aware of like riding a bike, like that sort of up down motion.
Okay. Um, so I like the way he's showing you that, but what he's and the kind of the dragon wing and you pertaining to sail, that's relevant. And then the man powered, yes, that's correct as well.
I feel as though there's still soldiers getting about though.
Soldiers around, I understand that. So
Okay.
yes, yeah, I do understand what you're seeing there.
I want to say Southwest. I'm not, um, I want to say Southwest US. So I'm not California. I don't know. I'm not Texas. I'm Southwest. Yeah, because I don't feel like I'm in a city. I feel as though I'm in the country. I feel like I'm rural. I certainly don't feel like I'm in New
Mm.
York, for example. It still feels very small town to me where he is.
Okay. I that's interesting because I did a little check-in with him as well, and you're picking up very similar areas that I picked up.
Okay. I just got a name too. Is there a Rod or a Rog?
Hmm, not that I know of. Oh, right. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. There is. Uh-huh.
Okay. Is it which one? Is that Rod or Rog?
Rod. So Rod,
With a D.
there
Okay.
was a Rodney.
Doesn't feel family to me. It feels like somebody knows.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I feel gentlemen the same age, around the same age.
Yes, that's correct too.
He makes a joke about Rod for my own back.
Ah, okay. Oh gosh, can't wait to tell the story.
Was someone missing?
Yes.
He did a bit of moving around because he says place to place. So I feel as though there is
Yeah.
quite a bit of
Hmm.
moving. And with him too, he shows me like a big sack that he's got that he takes with him. It almost feels like a burlap sack that you have a potato race, like, those
Okay.
potato sack races. Feels like
Yep.
a potato sack.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
feel as though it's got his stuff in it. So he's a bit of a gypsy. Time on the run.
Yes, he's on the
He
run.
gives me,
Possibly. Yes.
okay. So he's on the run because he's giving me Ned Kelly vibes.
Yes.
So funny when they do this. It's just talking about my own life now. And I'll tell you this story because it's interesting. But my grandmother's grandmother used to climb the trees and leave food in the trees because her parents owned the general store. And Ned Kelly's parents would pay her parents, and she would climb into the trees in Victoria and put the food up there for him, and he'd take it during the night.
Right. Wow.
And
Yeah.
he just said to me, no one was leaving food out for me.
Okay. Interesting. It's so interesting. Yeah.
Like not being looked after. No one cares about him.
Hmm. Hmm.
He's not alone, though. I feel as though there are two others with him too.
Uh-huh.
Pistol, in fact.
Yep. I imagine so.
In my head,
Oh, well, I mean, there definitely was. Yes.
I
Yeah.
just said, is that a revolver? And he says, it's a pistol.
There you go.
I do get from him too. He's not into pleasantries. With the people that he had contact with, and I do feel as though he's had to look after himself quite a bit over the years, like no one else to look after him.
Yep, definitely.
But he does talk about having this band, band of merry men. But
Hmm.
it's almost as though they're the forgotten ones. And
Yep.
he said urchin as well. So I do wonder if they were sort of street urchins, is what he means there, because I feel as though he's met in particular one gentleman when he's a teenager, and like he's stuck with him the whole time, and he's with
Yeah.
him.
They were known to each other perhaps a little bit later on, or it could have been in their late teens, but yeah, they had crossed paths earlier on. Ah, yes, could be teens actually, just from what I've just read then.
He's showing me newspapers as well.
Yep.
Newspapers being really relevant for him. Keeping an eye on the news and the movements because they intercept things.
Right.
Like it
Interesting.
feels like deliveries, like something's being delivered and they like intercept that delivery.
Very interesting.
I just said to him, like, why are you here? And he's like, I'm an interesting guy.
He is an interesting guy.
There is a lot of like mystery around him.
Yeah, there is.
Right. And I almost feel as though his grave site's become quite the tourist attraction too. He tells me people are interested in him.
There is a landmark yeah, there is a landmark.
It's a real slice of history, piece of history.
Yeah.
Feels pretty gold rush era to me.
Hmm. Mm.
A lot of people hardworking. They're not making a lot of money though.
Yeah, I think later than the kind of gold rush, but yes, what you're saying is correct. A lot of labour.
All right. May I see his picture?
Sure.
I'll see what it
Just make
does. The dark eyebrows.
dark eyebrows. It's definitely dark.
He walks with a bit of swag too,
Yeah, I can imagine.
and being made aware he smokes as well. And he drinks quite heavily.
Yep, I would not be surprised. Um, oh gosh, I've been trying not to ask you any questions, but
Oh, that's all right. Ask me. Oh,
yeah. So, do you get any information around age of death, year of death,
okay.
cause of death?
It looks like there's a period where he actually changes his name.
I would, I would think so.
He's making me aware age of death, 50s. And he makes me aware that it's like he's drunk and he like falls into water.
Right.
I don't feel I fall into a pool. I feel as though I fall into like a River.
Right. Interesting.
Want to ask about death?
Yeah.
Maybe this is just at the age he was at death. So I'll see cause of it because I haven't asked about cause. So I feel as though there is hidden items as well with him at this age.
So you're saying you're getting the age at 60s or
50s,
in the
50s.
60s?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I feel I'm in my 50s and I feel as though I'm an alcoholic. I drink a lot
Okay. Yep.
because I can't even stand up. Like my legs are just jelly half the time. And I almost feel as though I've like resumed a whole new identity. Like I was born Abraham, but I died Jack, you know? Like
Yeah. I don't know what he died at, but he did assume a few different names at different times.
it's like the type of person that never went to a doctor or a dentist.
Mhm. Yep.
And he never had a home. I just
Hmm.
feel as though I'm getting around.
Right. Interesting.
I didn't have a base. I didn't have a base. Just have
Yep.
a, what did you do? Pretty flirtatious too, like with
Right.
women,
Right.
but not a no interest in pursuing anything long term, is how I feel.
Yep. Don't-
Are you heist for him as well?
Yep.
So he does do time at some point. He's in jail at some point.
That's correct. And I think that you saw the soldiers, probably the prison guards, was what I was thinking at the time. And him marching with his shoes. I felt like that was, when you're in a prison lineup as well, going to and from the cells.
Okay, there's a few things that are coming up really quickly. I feel as though there was like an escape plan from prison, like to get out, not
Yes, there
to
was.
wait my time and get out.
Hmm. Yep.
And I do. I actually see someone over the angel wire.
He was a bit of an escape artist, this guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's showing me like I land from a height and I look back up and like part of my clothes are still on the angel wire.
Okay. Yeah, he did cross over, gosh, just trying to remember how high it was. It was two fences, two security fences from outside of prison,
He shot someone during his life too.
right?
Someone died. Yeah. And I feel as though it's like an innocent person died because of him.
Right.
Like he describes it as casualty, like just part of it. Pretty, and it's almost like quite nonchalant the way he delivers that as well.
Okay. So I can't verify whether he killed anybody. But yes, he like oh, I won't say what he did. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because I do feel as though someone got a bullet to their heart. It's almost like a security guard at a bank, like that kind of um, that sort of person.
Okay.
I get this gentleman is a little bit overweight, but in a uniform. But he doesn't feel police. He goes to work and his job's really boring. Like he stands somewhere, he stands in the same place all day and then he goes home. That's his job, this person's job.
Okay. So I do think at one of the institutions that there was someone that was killed. I'll just have a look. Yeah. In in the in the institution there was office there were casualties, but it wasn't to do with him. that wasn't the association, but at that institution there were other casualties.
Hmm.
There were guards that were shot and killed.
Was he on an island? Was he incarcerated on an island?
It was.
That's like a problem for him.
Yep.
He can't swim.
Wow. Yep. It's pretty amazing.
Um,
Okay. That is not in the literature, but I cannot see how he would be able to be honest. And yeah. Anyway,
just seeing
yes.
if he gets, so right now I'm on these rocks and there's lots of water and I'm like, I have to get in the water. But I'm a bit like, what's going to happen?
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Bit of trepidation.
but I can't go back. I got to get in the water. It's dark. It's nighttime.
Yes.
Okay. Also feel as though I have like a floating device, like something to help me float. And I feel as though I've got driftwood, um, bit of wood to help me stay afloat.
He's got both of those things.
Oh, you know that he got in the water with driftwood.
I know the
Oh,
story.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm still wearing my shoes in the water too. I don't know why that's relevant, but I'm still dressed.
Okay.
I didn't like stop and pull my clothes off. I'm in shoes
Yeah. Interesting.
because my whole persona, I just feel my whole body is just like I can do this. It's a bit arrogant and a bit if you can teach a kid to swim, I can swim, just very I find him quite oh yeah, just arrogant. Just
Yeah.
I can do that. It's like,
Just can't imagine he would be a very lovely character.
there's just no room in his heart for anyone else. It's really just him.
Mhm.
And it's just survival. It feels very survival, instinctual. And jumping in the water, it's like I've got nothing to lose.
Oh.
Why wouldn't I?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There are things he wants to do too. So it's not like I'm going to decide my next steps, but I am, he is manifesting something that he plans to do.
Do you know what that is? Or do you get a sense of anything?
It does feel very life of crime. It does feel like I've got an idea because I failed at something a couple of times and now I'm going to get it this time. It
Yes.
feels very, this hasn't worked out so far, but I know I've learned from those mistakes now.
Yeah. From all accounts, I can see he tried from different facilities uh, twice more than I'm aware of, but I think it could have even been more. But there was two that are noted in particular.
They diamonds. Is he after diamonds?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what he was trying to steal.
What he was trying to steal when he before he got put in jail, you mean? What he was
Yeah.
put in jail for? Um, I don't know. There could have been, it was bank robbery. So whether
Yeah.
there was anything in that, car theft, larceny,
What's
narcotics
masonry?
possession. What's larceny is when you are thieving, it's an old term that when you're thieving something that's over a particular value, so it's got quite a high value attached to it. But a lot of kind of petty, a lot of car theft, but then kind of ranging up to armed robbery.
Okay.
And I can't see that in any of the armed robbery ended up with the death of a guard either, like
Yeah.
guarding the bank. So I still can't verify that, but I am going to check that one out. I he
I
was
do feel as though he does go on to another heist after he gets out of jail. And I feel as though he takes something of value and then just goes and lives on it.
Right, quite possibly.
And I do feel as though he resumes another identity.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because my death, it's almost, yeah, it feels very much like I feel just like I'm in a drunken stupor. But I've put myself in that because I can't, because I'm trying to fly under the radar and I can't make myself known.
Mhm. Yes.
And so as a result, I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of people around me.
Yep. So possibly one of the people that there was contact with was Rod that you picked up, or Rodney,
Right.
the older brother of the other two, uh,
Mm,
the other two
okay.
men. He was about a year older than them and around about the same age as Frank.
So he's
And
a Frank, is he?
done it again.
All right.
Doesn't matter where you've uncovered so much of his story and some really interesting things. Yes, his name's Frank. Do you want his full name?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Is he Italian in descent?
There's so little that's said about him. I don't even I did find somewhere
I
that
want to say he's like Frank Roberto or something, like
no,
something low.
no, no.
What's your last name? I have one more go, and I'm going to say like Wall, Walls or Wall.
Frank Morris,
Okay.
Frank Lee Morris. Have you heard of him?
No,
No.
that's
Um,
bank robber, it seems.
a bank robber, a serial a serial thief, but and mastermind. He was very clever.
Okay.
Robbed a number of banks. Do you want me to kind of tell you a little bit about his story? The part that's
Yeah.
yeah. So he was orphaned at age 11, which he got, and from there on in, he was pretty much in foster homes. But by age 13, he was living a life of petty crime, and he spent a lot of years in like a national training school for boys, basically like juvenile detention. But he was there, I think, in 1935, born in 1926. He was also there in 1940. So he spent most of his childhood. He used to look after the lunches, dish out the lunches to the other juveniles. And he escaped when he was 16. I don't know how long he was before he was incarcerated again, but he was found and incarcerated. And then he continued to just keep living a life of crime, mostly cars, stealing cars. But he was, he, for all counts, the story about his early years are a little bit unclear, but it didn't seem very nurturing type of environment. So there wasn't not very much known about the father. And then for reasons unknown, the mother disappeared. So yeah, he spent most of his life incarcerated in one facility or another. But he also escaped in the late 1950s, the Louisiana State Penitentiary. And he was on the run for a year after that before he was caught doing another robbery. Um, and so he was sent to what was considered maximum security prison at that time, the one that housed all the worst of the robbers and also those that were known for escaping. And that was
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. Alcatraz. Yeah. So he went to Alcatraz 1960 and escaped 1962. And he was housed alongside three other males, two that were brothers. They came from a very nice family of 14 kids, but they had got into trouble with the law. But they started skipping school. They were a very poor family, but they had a very nice family. And Rodney was their older brother. And also another another guy, West. Let me just get his name. So John and Clarence Anglin were the brothers, and Alan West, and they all knew each other. So John and Clarence they got into trouble, and started, thieving themselves and leading to bank robberies as well when they were like 15, 16, something like. Or Clarence broke into a service station when he was aged 14 years old. So they may well, I don't know at which stage they knew each other, but they had been incarcerated together, so they did know each other.
Gosh.
And they had this absolutely amazing, elaborate scheme because he was very bright. Frank was very bright, IQ of 133. So their elaborate plan took 6 months. Frank actually worked in the library and he was really clever. So he picked up
Yeah.
from his magazines, and you're saying newspapers. And I was wondering, I mean, there was news in the newspapers, and I'm sure he was trying to follow that. But from these magazines, they stole raincoats. And once they managed to get through the vent, they used paint and they mixed up like soap and things like that to hold the newspaper in place and keep the vent looking like it was still a vent. But they were working inside the prison, on building a raft using these raincoats, and they built their own life jackets as well. And they learned how to make their own glue, and then they used like the piping to kind of melt things. And they did this using like spoons and
Wow.
what have you. But really interesting because he said to you his profile and his nose. So I don't know if you've heard about the famous Alcatraz escape, but they had paper mache heads that were made from toilet paper, soap, a little bit of cement, whatever they could find. They made these paper mache heads because the guards were on such a there were so many of them and they were rotating so often, they had to fabricate these paper mache heads. One of the Anglin brothers went to work in the barber shop, so it was all planned, and brought back real hair, and they fashioned them up with real hair. And just the profile and the nose that you were saying is very much like the famous picture of Frank's paper mache head. And what actually happened was, after they had escaped the next morning, the guard came and prodded the head and it fell off the bed and broke the nose. To this day, the case is open. No one knows, did they make it or didn't they make it? It wasn't until 1979 that the FBI actually closed it as inconclusive. So they found one of the wooden paddles that they had fashioned. They found some scraps of the raft, but they pretty much disappeared without a trace. And there was kind of lots of different leads about where they might have been, but they said that on all accounts, they would have perished on that trip. And so, like you with Michael, I tapped in and I'm like, no, he didn't. He lived on, and and was somewhere I was getting like, is it Texas, something like that, Dallas, I don't know, just felt hot, dry.
Yeah, I feel as though his life when he left prison was no life at all.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I feel as though he did have a female friend as well, and that she may have been a nurse and she had her own job. Okay, he's making me aware of like having buried some, he had resources hidden. And so when he came back, he was able to access those resources.
Okay, right.
But it's like he took on a new name. He was a different person.
Yeah. I had the feeling his life of crime ended after that. He kept a low profile, but
That's how it's coming through for me as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
In terms of message, it's like, I don't think he had that long to serve in jail. It's not like he was in there for life. He's making me aware either.
Right.
There was a sexiness to that idea of getting out of the place no one can get out of, which was really alluring for him.
Yeah, he wasn't in there for life.
Whereas the two brothers that he was working with, they were they were uh they needed someone, and that's why they were good candidates for this. They're the type of
Yeah,
people that they weren't great together. They weren't great on their own. They really needed support from someone else.
yep, yep.
So
That
he
was
was sort of the ringleader there.
yeah. Rather
I also
than
feel like the plans they left behind weren't complete. So like the paperwork that was left behind, because he shows me like eating it,
right.
ripping pages out and eating it, and just like planting fake plans
Yeah.
so
Yep.
that they didn't know what the actual plan was.
Yeah.